Let's go to the front of the Gold Coast Bulletin, Wet and Wilder. The Gold Coast's biggest theme park operator is splashing out on a spate of new attractions, including Australia's tallest water slide. Village Roadshow Theme Parks is pumping capital into a new complex of thrill rides at its Coomera-based Wet and Wild. The Bulletin can reveal Village will officially announce today the showpiece will be Kaboom, a raft slide starting 23 metres above ground with water jet propulsion plunging users down a 10-metre drop into corkscrews. Well, I'm going to ask you two questions, Leisa Goddard. The first is, this is great news, and I'm sure that you'll agree that it's great news, but are you going to go on the, what's it called? The Kaboom?
The giant, I'm going to drop you 10 metres and then let you corkscrew around for the other 13 or so, 16 or so. No, I think that will be a hard pass for me. I'm happy to be, the mum at the bottom waiting for the kid to shoot out safely. But look, from a tourism perspective, it's great news. We know how tough the Gold Coast has done it and how dependent they are on the international tourism dollar, and that's not going to be coming into Australia anytime soon. So they really do have to start investing in finding ways to, the Gold Coast is billed as the playground for Australia. So if they can put more attractions in there, that's fantastic, because it's not so long ago that we saw those theme parks having to wind back the days that they were open because they were doing it just so tough. So, and it's not just the Gold Coast, it's right up the Queensland coast, and when you look at North Queensland as well. So, but the next problem they'll have, Gleeso, is finding the staff to run these new attractions, so it's one sort of, it's a domino effect, isn't it?
I remember a few years ago, my son convinced me that I should go on a ride at, it was either Wet and Wild or one of those wet places, called the Wedgie, and it was the scariest thing I've ever done.
You must have known what the outcome of that would be.
Yeah, the outcome was not pretty, you can imagine. I won't even go there.
Yeah.
All right. The West Australia. Now
we've got the image. That's all we need.
Yeah, that's all you need. I was wearing boardies. I wasn't wearing the other ones, the budgie smugglers. Premier stands by Health Minister as grieving family demands total overhaul of Perth Children's Hospital. This is a terrible mess. The parents of the little girl who tragically died at Perth Children's Hospital say they are relying on Health Minister Roger Cook to solve the problems at the facility that cost their daughter her life, with tears streaming down his face. Ashwath Shavapura said he had no doubt his daughter Ashwara would be with me right now had hospital staff not kept the family waiting for medical attention for close to 2 hours. This is a mess. It's a damning indictment on the McGowan administration, who have had a golden run during the pandemic, but the needless death of a young girl. There needs to be change, and it needs to be now, Leisa.
Look, it's just such a sad story, and we've been following this now for weeks. And look, the parents went on a hunger strike outside of the hospital to draw attention to this because they wanted answers. And we've already seen the Health Minister apologise, I think it was on Wednesday, on the floor of Parliament. He also put forward a report which had 11 recommendations in it, and really basic things, Glee. So you should expect, this is a world-class leading children's hospital in Perth. You don't expect to take your 7-year-old daughter in and then not have the doctors or the ability to be seen and diagnosed and have her life saved, or at least be put in there for treatment. And she died, they waited all that time to see a doctor, and she died not long after finally seeing a doctor. So it is disgusting, it is appalling. We were talking about the Queensland health system before. You should not even expect that this is on the realms of possibility when it comes to the health system in this country. And I know that there are calls that the Health Minister should be forced to stand down. And I don't think that's a bridge too far. We've already seen, I did a bit of digging into it, we've already seen the chair of the board for the Child and Adolescent Health Service stand down. The CEO apparently offered a resignation but was told no. Again, it comes down to accountability. You can have all the inquiries and recommendations in the world, but why does it take the death of an innocent 7-year-old girl for there to be changes? And the changes are things like improve the triage process, clear a pathway for parents to be able to escalate their concerns. I would have thought that they were pretty basic standards that should already be in place. So your heart
Well
goes out to
said.
these parents, but for goodness sake, let's just hope that this does actually bring around some change. And I don't understand why these processes weren't already part of standard processes or guidelines in that hospital.
Well said, Leisa, well said.